What's up, people? Welcome to another episode of Uncle Ricky's House. Hey, look, I don't know if you follow me or not, but if you do, you know that I really haven't said a whole lot directly about Merrick Garland. I mean, I know a lot of people, as soon as they found out that Trump had documents in his basement, along with, all the stuff that came out of the January 6th shit, they thought, Garland should have been standing there waiting to arrest the motherfucker. And look, Donald Trump should have had this federal perp walk for the shit that he has allegedly done, because the potential of damage that he did to the country under both of the major things he's being investigated for, the riot, the January 6th riot. I mean, he tried to overthrow the country. I mean, you can't let that slide, not on any level. And it's kind of weird that the state of Georgia may get him for his alternate elective scheme and trying to intimidate the governor and the Secretary of State of Georgia to alter the election in his favor, the vote count in his favor. It seems that it's kind of weird that a state would get a president before the federal government would get the president. I mean, who's got the resources? Justice Department has investigators. It's got the FBI. It's got all the forensics. It's got money. It's got material. It's got agents. And yet and still they are spinning their wheels. I mean, okay. It seems that Merrick is more concerned about protecting the process instead of prosecuting the allegedly guilty individuals for the despotic things that occurred, that he was behind while he was the president of the fucking United States. Now it's all complicated even more, because originally Merrick said, well, not Merrick, but Mueller, he told us when he made the Mueller report that, hey, look, this motherfucker is guilty of about 10 major things that, he shouldn't be sitting in the Oval Office. He should be sitting in maximum security somewhere in the federal pen. But because of this supposedly unwritten understanding that you can't prosecute a sitting president to avoid the disaster and chaos that the situation may produce, Mueller didn't call on lowering the boom on Trump, because he knew that wasn't his place. He thought that wasn't his place, because he was only a special prosecutor. Now, that being here nor there, we know that nothing was going to happen, because Trump was the president. Barr was his attorney general. Barr was his hitman. Barr weaponized the whole Justice Department just to cater to the whims of the Mango El Duce. El Duce was the pet name for Benito Mussolini, who was the fascist dictator in Italy, that finally pissed off the people enough that they dragged him out and hung him near the end of World War II. Hung him and his girlfriend upside down in the square and spit on him for 7 days. I'm not saying that should happen to Trump. I'm just saying it was the path of a dictator. Now, the thing, back to Garland. Garland is an institutionalist. And I believe that he doesn't mean to do any harm, but he is more concerned about protecting his precious institution, the Department of Justice, than he is about prosecuting the guilty or the suspected guilty, alleged guilty. Because I'm not saying he's afraid But he knows that prosecuting Trump would be the first in the history of the United States. And now his position is even more complicated because it seems that Biden, perhaps not for the same motivation as Trump, but he has committed the same offense as Trump. But Biden has already said, okay, it happened, it's me, but I didn't mean to. Trump denied everything from the beginning, even though the FBI found the shit in Mar-a-Lago, found the shit in New Jersey, found the shit in a storage locker down in Florida. And the whole time they're finding shit, all Trump is doing is creating maneuver after maneuver, even enlisting a federal judge he appointed to the bench to delay and distract and weasel his way out of it. But this is serious. People's lives hang in the balance because of what's in those documents. Now, I find this really crazy because, okay, Biden thing happened in November, and I'm not going to comment on why it wasn't announced until after the election. That's politics. It is, and you can't deny the optics. The Democrats are guilty of some of the same shit that the Republicans are, but they seem to do it in a less destructive manner. They don't seem to do it in a manner that's going to openly cause the destruction of social order. Democrats, they do shit because they think they are smart. They think that they have all the solutions. Republicans do shit because they like putting their feet on people's necks and squeezing until they scream or die, whichever comes first. They don't care. It's all about them retaining power. They don't have a plan. It's all about them being in charge. They don't want to help. They talked about inflation. They talked about the border. They talked about this, and the Congress has been in session now for a week. And all they've done, every bill they have done, is to throw sands into shit that works. They've been screaming about the system has been broke for decades. The system works. It could be better, but it's not broke. So what do? They purposely set out to break the system to prove that they're right. We're facing a government shutdown for what? For no reason. Change the debt limit. It doesn't really mean shit because we print the damn money anyway. Now, the thing with Garland, he made Jack Smith the special counsel in the Trump thing. And that was just a clear thing. He said it was because of politics, Biden declared that he was going to run for president. Now, this is another thing that's really fucking me up. We have three declared presidential candidates for the 2024 election. And none of the three are really campaigning worth a damn. Well, Biden already won one presidential election campaigning from his basement on Zoom. He beat Trump. But then we had COVID. Made a difference. But now, Garland, with all the shit that Trump has done, with all the obvious, we got piles of paper, we got piles of evidence, we got piles of testimony, not from Trump's enemies or his self-proclaimed enemies, the Democrats, from his own people that would have flung themselves in front of a train for Trump once upon a time, but now that they worked with Trump and saw what Trump was. See, Trump thought everybody was all about the grift like he was. And to a certain extent, that's true. A lot of the people that were around Trump were bottom feeders. They were getting the crumbs that Trump was leading, or they were doing their own thing with Trump's permission. That was Trump's administrative base that was his hedge of protection. The Trump loyalists, in the White House, the Trump loyalists in DOJ, the Trump loyalists in the Department of Defense. We damn near came close to being another country, another form of government. And Trump was 100% for it as long as he remained in the White House. But the more that this becomes obvious, it seems, the more that Garland procrastinates. And now that Biden is in the same predicament, I'm not going to say the motivation was the same, but he's in the same predicament. Both presidents violated law that a lot of common people like you and me that work for the government or served in the military got their lives ruined because of mishandling one document, not hundreds or tens or, tens or 20s of documents. And multiple SCI and top secret stuff. This shit is like, if you were a common citizen with a security clearance, if you walked out of the wrong building with this shit in your hand, you would find yourself chilling in a federal prison for like 10, 15, 20 years and wondering why. And yet it's still, now we got a country, we got an attorney general that is afraid that it's too political to prosecute either one. But the Attorney General's office is not supposed to be about politics. It's supposed to be about the law. And it's an unwritten understanding. It's part of the core value of this country that no person is above the law. Merrick Garland, if you can't work with that, if you got to stunt and do all this crazy shit to protect your institution, perhaps your institutionalist ass shouldn't be where it is. That's all I got to say for now. As always, God bless and peace out from Uncle Ricky at Uncle Ricky's house.